Man, peace, y'all. Welcome to the campaign trail, Sunday, October 6th. This is actually the second time I just had to do this because apparently some fishy technical difficulties is going on my other mainstream, on the main YouTube page. So here we go again. Trump brings out Elon Musk at the same rally location of his first deletion attempt. And Democrats lose their minds. They lose it. This rally happened yesterday when he brought out Elon Musk, fair use. We're going to react to a few clips about what Elon Musk had to say at the rally and the reaction of mainstream media, particularly MSNBC and some of the chocolate chips that they brought out to speak out against this. Man, this is rich. Check it out.
Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
He said, as you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. Dark MAGA. Actually, it's black that he has on, and I guess he couldn't say that. You know, I'm not just MAGA, I'm black MAGA. So he said, I'm dark MAGA, as he has on black MAGA hat and black MAGA gear. What type of code language is that? From the guy, the multi-billionaire guy who bought Twitter and changed the name from Twitter to X. And now he has black MAGA. You know, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA, I'm black MAGA. So what a way to start off your speech. I wonder what code language that is, but let's continue.
Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight.
Oh, Lord. You know, they losing their mind off of this, right? So let's continue.
Blood coming down the face. I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime.
This is the most important election of our lifetime. Remember that phrase. And this is coming from a multi-billionaire that has over 50 or 60% of the satellites in orbit around Earth are owned and controlled by him. So remember that line he just said.
This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. You got 14 states now that don't require voter ID. California, where I used to live, is just passed a law banning voter ID for voting.
Banning voter ID, yet apparently, allegedly, this administration within the last year alone, let alone the last 3.5, almost 4 years, have allowed in over 20 million undocumented, undetained immigrants, or aliens as they like to call them. And now he's saying that California has banned having to have ID to vote. Could that be one of the main reasons that this particular administration had allowed 20 million or more immigrants into the country so that they can replace us and produce a new voter bloc? a new voter block, a new cheaper workforce. Let's keep listening.
I still can't believe that's real. So how are you supposed to have a proper election if there's no ID? It's just meaningless.
Wow.
And free speech is the bedrock.
Yeah, let me back that up. Ain't that voter fraud basically? Ain't that basically voter fraud? If you're not requiring them to have no ID, how can we prove they're actually citizens?
Meaningless. And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And
that's probably why he bought Twitter, right? He bought Twitter and took like a $40 billion loss in the beginning. And he still had a gang of billions to fall back on. So I guess, he brought it back up to value, but he bought Twitter, got rid of all of the restrictions. Of course, they had Minister Farrakhan canceled, censored. They had Trump and Alex Jones and all kind of other, no matter who you are, black or white, if you had any type of controversial information, they had you blocked, they had you canceled. So he bought that and released it all. It's all kind of wild pornography stuff going on Twitter. But if you sift through that, you're going to find some of the rawest, uncut truths and videos of children in Palestine, Palestinian children or trafficked, situations. So it's there. But let's keep listening.
if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
Right.
President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. This is a must-win situation.
Okay, that's very strong words. And what does that mean coming from two multi-billionaires, one that controls the majority of, like I said, the media and satellites and space technology and electric vehicle technology. What does that mean? This is the most important election in our lifetime, and Trump must win. Okay. Let's continue.
Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone in the live stream. There's one request. It's very important. Register to vote. Okay? And get everyone you know and everyone you don't know, drag them to register to vote.
And this is, of course, our take on this, because so many of our people have bought into that. And, we bringing out all the celebrities, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Luther Campbells, the rappers, the Magic Johnsons, everybody, the Oprahs that's trying to draw our people out to vote. This is what the real leader of our people has to say about that and has always said about that.
Drag them to register to vote.
I can't urge my followers to vote for a change of the white man's way of life and the way of his government. That's his.
So don't get excited when you hear him saying the white man, because I'm going to do some MSNBC yesterday or today reporting that's going to make this sound like Will Smith.
And there is no need for me to tell you to vote for Mr. Jones or Mr. Johnson. I can't tell you that either one will give to you what you want. You want to be equal with Mr. Johnson or Mr. Jones. And that can't be done. And why should I tell you to vote that he will give you this? Because he can't do it. There is no white man in America today can go to Washington and give the so-called American Negro equal rights. He can't do it.
Or in turn,
He can promise it to him, but he have his own people to contend with.
He has his own people to contend with if he tried to do that.
Equal rights will mean giving some earth too. You can't be equal by living on the white man's soil.
Equal rights means you have to give us some earth. We can't be equal living on some other man's soil, the white man's soil. We need our own land.
This is his country. Why should you be deceived by a president or a candidate for president saying he will give you equal rights when you can't get no equal rights? No fully equal rights is here for you unless they are going to do this. Give to you some portion of the country and give to you the rights to set up your own government for yourself and your own people, since that by nature you are different.
Right? So that is common sense, and that was proven in 1945 by U.S. President Harry S. Truman, where he went directly to his Euro brothers in the UN and has quickly established a separate state and territory for white, European, German, Ashkenazi Jewish people who were the victims of their own German brother, Hitler, and the Nazis, right? So they knew how to go carve out or take or gangster or whatever land, earth, soil from the Middle East and settle their people there that were the victims of such Holocaust, such atrocities, crimes against humanity. So they know exactly how to do that. And the candidate that Trump is running against, her husband is a dual citizen and beneficiary of that very thing. So let's continue, and we're gonna react to the last of this.
And sort of, Lena, to David's point.
Oh, this is the MSNBC Democratic chocolate bars that they bring out now and got them frenzying at an all-time high. But it's particularly the black man is bringing out the black woman, and listen to what she says compared to what Honorable Elijah Muhammad said.
This is a minority movement, and yet the race is close. You look at national polls, you look at battleground state polls. It is close within the margin of error. I'd love your reaction to Donald Trump's speech, but also your thoughts on that aspect of this campaign.
It was a really strange speech, Jonathan. It's always surreal to sit and watch Donald Trump, and I think there were attempts to try to connect with people on an emotional level and to try to have empathy for the people who were harmed and who lost their life. But he fails in every single way possible, and when he goes off the prompter and attacks Democrats, speculating that they had something to do with what happened to him, that's...
Didn't the people that attempted to delete him espouse or claim that?
When he becomes the person that is so dangerous for the future of our democracy. The reason why this race is close is because it is a cultural movement, but also because this is a movement grounded in white supremacy. This is a movement grounded in the idea that America should be one way.
Hold on, let's back that up. What did she say? Since when did the people at mainstream news, you know, the small caps, support and promote black people accusing presidents of white supremacy? Why did it just start with this president? Are you suggesting to me, owners of the mainstream media, that all of the white presidents prior to Donald Trump were not white supremacists, and it was not okay, it was not acceptable to call none of the presidents prior to Donald Trump white supremacists? Why is it okay now? Mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN, all of the, CBS, ABC. Why is it okay now? And why do you have black women out there saying that? Why do you have black women saying that, and it's okay for black women to call white presidents white supremacists? That is incredible. Are y'all watching this? Y'all catching this?
Supremacy. This is a movement grounded in the, because it is a cultural movement, but also because this is a movement grounded in white supremacy. This is a movement grounded in the idea that America should be one way, when in this current moment, our demographics are shifting to a more diverse, multiracial democracy.
How is our demographic shifting? Is it because of immigration? Is it because of 20 or more million undocumented, undetained criminal immigrants that have been allowed to come into the country and take our jobs, take our reparations, muddy the water, cloud the rights up, produce a new voter block to replace us, to produce cheaper labor that's going to replace us, to produce a whole new group of soldiers and fighters that will fight against us.
And there are people in this country who do not want to see that future take shape. And about half of the country does not participate in politics. So what we have is a split of that other half. And unfortunately for us, that means that we have elections that are this close.
Okay, now keep that in mind, how dangerous that the sister girl and the brother, what his name, Jonathan Cape something, how he was calling the president Trump so dangerous, even though we got 4 whole years of showing how dangerous he was to black people, right? And let's go back in a throwback a few years ago and listen to this.
To ask you about your running mate. I don't know if you saw. Well, I saw the day that the news report broke that Amy Klobuchar was being vetted, and a lot of people on social media, they're not too happy about that, and it's because they want your running mate to be a black woman. I don't know if you saw the op-ed in the Washington Post by some of the leading black women voices in this country, and
so they was already prepping and getting rid of, planning to push black women out front and make black women the new face of whatever diabolical plans that this government has in store for the world. Same way that they put Obama's face for 8 years to be the face of assassinating Gaddafi and pushing rainbow pressure and laws on Africa and doing what he did in the Middle East. Even though Hillary and Biden was, the ones really doing that, but they put Obama's face up there for that. So now they already knew what they planned to do with this last little presidency, and they have to put a black woman's face up to do it.
feels since black women are such a loyal voting bloc, and black people saved your political life in the primaries this year. They have things they want from you, and one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered.
Is it just me, or is it really just cringe to even hear him say black, the word black referring to human beings? You could just hear it in they lack of soul. You can hear it in their nature that when they say black regarding people, it just ain't right.
Guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Well,
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
Remember that whoever Biden's handler was when Charlemagne started going after the race issue and the black thing, and then the handler tried to cut him off and said, well, that's it. And he was like, no, you can't do that to black media. Salute to Charlemagne for for doing a Kanye moment and putting some pressure in the hot seat right there on the spot in real time. So look what this made Biden say. Y'all remember this viral moment.
I gotta do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen,
Yeah,
you got to
in
come
trouble.
see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Let me say it. Let me play that again.
November, we got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Lord have mercy. Y'all remember that? Trump is dangerous. Okay, we know Biden's track record. I'm not for Trump and I'm not for Biden. I'm making a case here.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Remember that?
Well, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So this is who we for. With all that in mind, let me just read to you what we've always been for, and we can wrap this up. The black man of America has been privileged by the slave master's children for the last century to vote for whites for the offices to judge and rule. This freedom to vote has made the black man in America feel very dignified and proud of himself. He goes to the polls very happy to vote for a white ruler. Today, he is gradually changing to a desire to vote for his own kind for such offices of authority. We must remember that our vote is strong and powerful only when and where the white man can use it to get in the office over his white opponent. After the election and the victory, there are very few favors that come from his office to the black voters who helped and aided him in getting in the office. Why? Because he does not owe the black voter anything as long as he has to feed, clothe, and shelter us. The black vote could be cast or not. The white citizens of the government are going to win and continue to rule anyway. Not the black citizens, because we're not citizens. There's much talk of this man and that man who shall the vote of the people put in the White House for the next 4 years. How much good have the two parties so far, Republican and Democrat, done for us for the last century in the way of freedom, justice, and equality? Regardless what party wins, the die is always set against us, the black people in America. Injustice, crooked politics, and the breeding of corruption under crooked politics have been practiced ever since Adam to the present day rulers. Adam was the first crook. It's Sunday, and we can talk about who Adam was. We know in the Bible, Adam was the first of the pale race. There's not been justice for the black man in this race of people. And this is why the race suffers from the effect of the chaos today. There are black politicians, listen to this part. There are black politicians who like to use their own black people for selfish greed and will throw us behind any crook with money. Black politicians of this type have sold their black brothers to suffering and shame for self-elevation with the crook. This election is one of the most serious in the history of American government, because either party that seeks the office of presidency is faced with the problem of saving the lives of the people of America. If the present party, meaning the Democratic Party, remains in office, you know the answer. And if the Republican Party takes over, you also should know the answer. There will be a lull before the storm, a calm before the storm. But the storm can be delayed, and every hour and every day that it can be delayed is to your benefit. The black man should be very serious and careful about his voting, because 90% of the black votes cast are cast by ones who do not have the knowledge. Let me back it up. Who do not have the knowledge of what they're casting their vote for. I still say, as I've always said for many years, vote for Allah, vote for God to be your ruler, and come follow me. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that, my brothers and sisters, is who I vote for. And this right here, as you can see, is coming up in next week, October 13th, the Holy Day of Atonement observance. Who is the presidential candidate? Who of the presidential candidates can save the lives of the people of America from the wrath of God? That's a switch. That's a change. This ain't about the wrath and the wickedness of Satan or the enemy or the slave master's descendants. Now the subject is who can save, which one of these presidential candidates can save the lives of the people of America, black and white and every other color, from the wrath of God. That's telling us that grace is up. The grace period is over with. The time that we had to choose God and choose the messenger of God and choose righteousness, choose to separate from our enemies, choose to face reality, choose to acknowledge the real enemy and the warfare that's been waged on us ever since we've been here. But instead, we want to integrate. We want to vote for Pharaoh and his system. We want to be a part of his system instead of letting it go. So now we are facing the wrath of God, and no candidate is going to save us from the wrath of God since we rejected him. So I absolutely don't support Trump. I absolutely don't support Harris, Biden. I absolutely don't support no presidential candidates of these United Snakes of America. So on that note, I just wanted to put that out there on this Sunday, October 6th. Sunday school message. I'll be back on later on, God willing, and we can talk more about this. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share, and let me know y'all's thoughts. Peace.